Bonjour, Kinamage Nene Ireland Adishnikas, and welcome to this production of the My Math Network. Today's episode, Chapter 4, Lesson 2, Hands-on, Divide Using Base 10 Blocks. We'll begin with our essential question. And the essential question in Chapter 4 is, what strategies can I use to divide by a two-digit divisor? I know we're early on in this chapter, but I want to remind you, the process is the same. We're just looking at two numbers going into two numbers or three instead of one going into one or two. So I want you to breathe in before going any further. Also, if you don't have the materials near you, you should have the packet labeled Lesson 2 Hands-on beginning on page 257. If you don't, you should hit pause and go get it and then come back. You will also note that we did not send base 10 blocks home with you. They're heavy. They're like 40 pounds each. Couldn't do it. Oh, I thought we were talking about cinder blocks. My fault. You could create your own. And I will tell you that in today's lesson, squares are going to be worth 100. Straight lines are going to be worth 10. And dots will be worth 1. We're going to begin on Build It. This is on page 257. As always, the expectation is that you fill it in as we go along. If for some reason I'm going too fast for you, you can always pause the video, finish writing something in, and then continue the video and move forward. So let's look at our story here. Gary is saving up to buy a trumpet for a band that costs $156. Suppose he saves the same amount each month for 12 months. How much money does he need to save each month? So our first part would be modeling, if we had the blocks. And we're going to use the pictures in here and the pictures that are located on 257 to represent them for us. And you can see that we have 100 by the 10 by 10. Then we have 5 tens and then 6 ones. This is really place value in a nutshell. 1 in the hundreds place, 5 in the tens, 6 in the ones. Step 2, if we're going to divide by 12, we already know we can't divide 1 by 12. We know that we'll have to regroup it, and that's what they did here. They took the one group of 100 and turned it into 10 groups of 10. So now if we have 10 groups of 10, how many groups will that be total? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. We have 15 groups. Now can we put 12 into it? Can we? We could go ahead and circle 12 groups. And I'm going to let it do it for me. Your eyes will thank you versus my penmanship. And you can see that we circled 12 groups. How many tens were in each of these 12 groups? Well, there's 1. So I put a 1 there. How many tens are left over? 3, Basic, Nishna Sway. And then there were 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 left over. So that is step 1 of our division. Sure, this is all written down. Let's move forward. Step 4. I'm going to grab my annotation tool here. There are 3 groups of 10. Obviously, that can't be divided by 12, so we have to regroup them into the next column over, which is the ones. How many ones are in 30? Well, obviously 30. Plus there were 6 before, so there are 36. Now we divide it into 3 groups, or into 12 groups, sorry. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you'll notice that each one of these is a group. And I could keep circling all the way across. I won't, for the sake of your eyes. So how many ones were in each of this group? 1, 2, 3. So each group contained 1 10 and 3 ones. Oops. Let's erase that there. 1 10 and 3 ones, which we put together as a 1 and a 3, which you know is 13. So Gary needs to save $13 per month. Notice I labeled it with a dollar sign because that is the expectation that we label things. Otherwise, we won't know what we're talking about. Is it $13 or 13 piranhas or 13 CMU flags? We don't know. And you don't want us not knowing, because knowing is half the battle. All right, so make sure you've written this in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen. You see the answer key there. So let's talk about one here. In the activity, you started by placing 1 10 in each group. What will be the place value of the first digit of the quotient? Did you see a key word here? $1.10. That will give you the answer that the first place value will be 10. What would happen if the cost of the trumpet was $168? Would the amount to save each month increase or decrease? Have you ever owed anybody money? If you owe more, you pay more. So of course it's going to have gone up. And we'll see the answer key. 10's place in increases. If you could spend more money and have what you owe decrease, I would like to meet your accountant. All right, let's talk about this one. Suppose Gary chose to save $156 for 13 months instead of 12 months. Will the amount he needs to save per month increase or decrease? If you had to save $10 and you could do it in 5 weeks, but you chose to do it in 7 weeks, would you have to save more or less each week? Obviously, the answer is decrease, because now instead of dividing by 12, you're dividing by 13, and 156 divided by 13 will be a little bit less. I believe it'll be, doing some quick math in my head, it would, yeah, it would take about that. All right. Let's have you practice a few in a moment here. You have numbers 4 and 5 here. Draw models. Remember, when drawing the model, this will represent 100, this will represent 10, and this will represent the ones place. So I drew for you 100, 110, 7 ones, 1, 1, and 7, or 117. You're going to have to divide it into 13 groups. Remember, that will take regrouping. I'm going to ask you to pause the video and complete 4 and 5, and then come back and see how you did. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. You see the drawings. With 117 divided by 13, we had to take the hundreds into tens, but unfortunately that still left us with 11 tens. We had to regroup that into 117 ones. I'm sure you're really pleased with me right now having to draw 13 groups of 9, but that's how we got the answer. And the other one, same thing is going to apply. You're going to end up with 17 groups of 8. I know you're having fun. Go sharpen your pencil and let's try the next ones. 123 divided by 11 and 105 divided by 15. Do the exact same thing and we'll see you on the other side. You may pause the video. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. First, 23 by 11. That gave us two groups of 10 in each. That meant there was one group of 10 left over, which we broke down into 10 ones, plus 1 1 gave us 11 ones. 11 divided by 11 is 1. We got 21. Over here, 105 divided by 15. We had to break it all into ones, so we had 15 groups of 7. Let's get a story problem here. The average person eats 26 pounds of bananas each year. Wow, that's a lot of bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S, bananas. How many years would it take for a person to eat 104 pounds of bananas? Draw models. So go ahead, pause the video, and let's see how you did. Welcome back. I apologize. I'm just finishing up a delicious banana split. And let's see how you did. 4 years, because 4 times 26 is 104. All right, we have reached the point where I'm ready to let you off to fly and to complete the homework. The homework is found on page 261 and 262. Page 261 will provide you simply an explanation of how to do all of this. Feel free to look at it. And by feel free, I mean look at it. It will help you. Even if you're doing the Google form, to have that available to you to remind you of the steps is very beneficial. And on the back side, there are 5 questions. When it says for you to make the models, I encourage you to draw down on the paper, even if you're going to do this on the Google form. And if you do that, just send the paper back at the next paper exchange. I will grade what you're doing based on the paper you turned in, but it's helpful for me to see what your models look like so that I understand just where you're at on your math journey. As always, if you have questions, we have office hours most days at 2 p.m., or you can join us during our live stream. Or you can reach out to me at mireland@sagchipschool.net. I hope you all have a Minogishigad and Bama P.